Hello everyone and welcome to ZP Productions, and today will be a very special video on the latest Canon announcement, the EOS R5. Something that really will excite any Canon users if you have seen the announcement just today. So the EOS R5 is a really exciting announcement because the RF mount is just filled with really great lenses. The 85 1.2 and the 2870 f2 are really lenses just waiting for a better body. When the EOS R first came out, it had really lukewarm reception because the specs compared to even cameras of that time wasn't really great. Now the EOS R5 literally changes everything if Canon can launch it in a good time frame. Canon rumors have said that this camera will be out by July. Canon did not commit to any known date for its launch, but let's hope that Canon rumors is actually correct and maybe we'll get it sometime this year. So now let's take a look at what Canon has officially announced for the R5 and also maybe talk about some speculations of what it may have. So Canon said that this new camera has a brand new sensor. Definitely will have a brand new sensor because the current 5D Mark sensors are a little old, and so are the 5DS and the 5DSR. So the thing is, Canon has launched a new sensor, but they didn't really give any known specs. Now let's hope that it does outperform the 5D Mark IV sensor by maybe half a star of dynamic range, and that will pretty much put it on par with the Sony counterparts. The next thing that they actually said is that this thing will shoot 8K video. Now, once again, Canon stopped short and just said 8K video. They did not announce what is the frame rate, what is the bit rate, what is it using, which container is it using, how is it recording. Nobody knows. It just does 8K video. But by just announcing 8K video, it does confirm one thing about this sensor. This sensor must have about 40 megapixels or more. The reason being is because 8K video will require a sensor of about 33 megapixels with a width of 7680 by 4320 to make it true 8K. Now that is a 16:9 resolution, and once you convert it to something like a 3.2, that will make it to about 39 point something, and for sake of computation, 40 megapixels. So one thing I can be safe for sure is that this sensor must have 40 megapixels to truly have 8K resolution videos. Then Canon announced the next thing. It has IBIS, in-body image stabilization. Now that is something that Canon has never done, and Canon have always claimed that no, lens IBIS, lens IS is the way to go. But with this IBIS, Canon is now launching the first camera with an in-body image stabilization, and Canon also say that it will work with current image stabilization in lens to have some sort of a dual IS effect, similar to what Panasonic, Sony, and Olympus have been doing recently. That is really great news because Canon does make some of the fastest lens, the 50 1.2s and 85 1.2s, and all the rumored patents of ultra fast lens like 35 1.0 and 35 1.2s. All of them, with these IBs will make Canon one of the greatest low light camera you can ever get. Really, I do hope that this whole announcement will come as fast as possible. Now, the rest of the announcements to me wasn't that exciting. It has dual card slots, but to me it didn't really matter too much. I use it mainly if I'm dealing with some clients and there's no chance to repeat. If not, I never really use the dual card slots in most of my cameras. So dual card slots are great. And once again, Canon did not say what kind of dual card slots it has. Does it have anything more than just dual cards? So we can speculate maybe it has some sort of CF Express or SD. I will bet that it has one CF Express because if you went back and calculate some of the specs that Canon gave without a CF Express, this camera will probably not work out. Now there is one spec that I have not talked about yet, which is the 20 frames per second, and this is actually the spec that I feel will reinforce the fact that CF Express is needed. Because 20 frames per second silent and 12 frames per second mechanical. That is what Canon is claiming in their announcements. But if you look at it from the spec point of view, that means that Canon must be pushing almost 800 megabytes 800 megapixels per second. And normally in Canon files, you will translate that to about 1.2, 1.3 megabytes per megapixel. So that's easily almost close to 1 gigabyte per second of data. Unless Canon is going to put a very deep buffer into their cameras. If not, this guy will either burst really short or come with a CF Express, which will almost allow you to burst really long time, maybe like 4 seconds or 5 seconds, because CF Express does write really quick. Now, this 20 frames per second, once again, Canon, when they announce, they like to make things ambiguous again. It doesn't say much. It only says that it's silent, 20 frames per second. Does it have AF? Does it have exposure compensation? Does it have some sort of way to meter the scene? Or is it fully manual? We do not know. But one thing for sure, normally with 20 FPS, even with AF lock, if Canon can give you half the amount with AF, that'd be great. 10 FPS with AF is still a very good camera. Now, that is not groundbreaking anymore, but let's hope that Canon can really achieve this 20 FPS with AF. Now, other than all these announcements that they did, they also gave some images. So in these images, they did show a few things. Firstly, from the front, you can see that the EOS R5 is slightly bigger than the EOS R. If you note the side part somewhere on the lens release, there is a bit more space, and if you look at the bottom, there is also a little bit more space. I'll give it about, looks like 2 mm of difference versus 2 or 3 mm of difference versus the EOS R. This does make the whole overall body slightly bigger in all ways. The next thing you will notice that there are some additional flaps on the front. If you look at the EOS R here, there is actually no flaps. So these new flaps must be some sort of a port, maybe some sort of flash sync port to bring it to a more professional standard. I'm not too sure of what's inside those rubber flaps, but something that, when the camera do come out, we can probably take a look. And the last thing is actually the back of the camera. Firstly, that camera still have a silver screen, as you can see on the hinge at the left side. In this video in Canon Japan. So one thing about Canon is that their international sites do not give this video. You have to go to Canon Japan in YouTube and find this video. And then you can see that the back of the camera does have a swivel screen still. That is very good with 8K video and a swivel screen. I don't know, 8K vlog, maybe. The next thing that you notice is that there is the change in controls. Firstly, the return of the scroll wheel that in the 5D series and the 6D series. Scroll wheel is a really good function. It does make moving around images, zooming in and out, a lot faster than buttons. And also the scroll wheel, if you actually use any of the 5D series board, is quite big. So it does mean that the camera must be a little bit wider to actually accommodate the screen and the scroll wheel. As you can see this button here, there's really not much space left. So the scroll wheel must definitely clear a bit more. And I can assume that the R5 is definitely bigger than the EOS R significantly, maybe like almost a cm wider. It looks like it, and will probably be it too. And one more thing that I noticed change is the touch bar. That is a good thing because the EOS R touch bar is really quite pointless. I literally just deactivate it. In replacement, it came with a joystick and a shifting of the AF on button. One thing I would like to say is that Canon actually implemented a really good optical joystick on the 1DX Mark III recently launched. I'm not sure why they did not implement it. It's maybe some sort of cost-cutting measure once again by Canon. If they have implemented it, considering that the EOS R and R5 probably can AF through the entire screen, it will be a much better experience than trying to push a joystick to go through the 100 points on the screen itself. So I'm not sure why Canon did that. Let's hope that maybe in the final hardware there will be the optical joystick. If not, I think it's still really fine. At least the joystick is more useful than this touch bar here. That is pretty much all Canon has announced today. Now, Canon rumors did add on a bit of other things such as 8K 30 FPS, 4K 120 FPS. Oh, that is really crazy, but it's probably 120. If it does 120 FPS, it's probably something on AF lock mode again. And it comes with some other spec like IBs with 5 stop, 6 stop. I do not know whether that is true, but any form of IBs is better than no IBs at all. So I do hope that this R5 does come sometime mid this year like what Canon rumors say, because this EOS R official announcement, I believe excites any Canon user out there. In fact, as a mirrorless camera, if it really does deliver on its specs, 20 FPS with AF, silent on a 40 plus megapixel camera, you can almost say that in terms of throughput, it's beating the A7R4, which is a very, very new camera, and Sony has been known to be one of the fastest camera in the world. Does it mean that Canon is going to overtake it? I do not know. Let's hope that Canon really blows our mind when the R5 is out, unlike the EOS R. This is so much for my video, and I hope you enjoy it. Maybe when there is other new technology announcement, I'll make such a video again, because I really like to talk about the new stuff. It's just that not many things interest me enough to spend my effort to create such a video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.